everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel. I'm going to demonstrate how to make these really pretty Christmas tree ornaments. Now, I went through my scrap fabric. I didn't go buy any more fabric. But if you don't have fabric, you can buy fat quarters, which are pieces of fabric 18 by 20 inches, or you can buy an 1/8 of a yard of fabric or a 1/4 of a yard of fabric. But remember, look for those scraps first. I'm also using some interfacing, which I will describe later. For be able to hang it on your tree, you can use any ribbon you like or twine. Okay, let's get started. For this first ornament, you're going to need some paper that's about 5 inches wide by 10 inches long. Fold your paper in half, and we're going to create a half circle. And so take a ruler, and I'm going to put my 4.5 inch mark right here on this corner. And taking a pencil or pen, whatever you have, you're going to create little marks. And you're going to keep moving your ruler, making marks all the way around. And then you're going to cut on your drawn lines. So this is the shape that you'll have. Now, if you're going to be making a lot of these ornaments, I recommend that you trace this onto cardstock because it's a lot easier tracing and cutting around this. This is some fusible interfacing, and I'm going to be using this on the back. And it's by Pellon, and it's called Shirt Tailor 950F, and it's a mid-weight fusible interfacing. So on one side, it's rough. You'll feel these little beads of glue, and then on the other side, it's very smooth. This is the fusible interfacing, and right now I have the glue side facing up at me. But now I want to turn it to where it's facing down. Take your fabric and put the pretty side of the fabric on top. So now you're looking at the back of your fabric. Then take your template and go ahead and trace around it and then cut it out. I'm going to be putting rickrack on the lower curved edge. And this rickrack, you can get it many places. Walmart is where I purchased mine. Joann Fabrics and Crafts, you can get it on the internet like Amazon. And it's called Wright's rickrack. Now place it just on the curved edge. And I chose a basting stitch because I just want it to be held in place so that when I do the next step, it's easier. So I just stitched a little off center towards this raw edge and stitch it all the way around. So now I've layered everything. So here's the back of my fabric, and the rickrack is in between the two layers here. This is my fusible interfacing, and the rough side is facing up. Now you're going to stitch about 1/4 of an inch around this edge, and it's easy to see the rickrack. So if you just stitch down the middle of the rickrack, it's going to work out great. Now I'm going to stitch a little bit off of the corners. This way the corners will lay a little bit flatter. So I'm just taking it down to where the corner is about 1/8 of an inch wide. I'm going to take just a tad off this side and then some off of this side. And you do it on both of your corners. With one hand, you want to grab a hold of your fabric that's down here. On the other hand, grab a hold of the interfacing and pull it apart. Then you're going to cut a slit in here. And mine's probably at least 4 inches or 4.5 inches long. Now reach inside and beginning to pull your fabric out on the outside. Now try not to tear your interfacing too much. Sometimes it tears a little bit. Go ahead and pull your edges out and make sure you poke your corners out. Here's one I've already got done, and this is what it looks like on the back. Here's that slit I cut, and it's completely fused shut. So now take it and fold and find the center and sort of bend it there in the middle so that you can see a little crease. Now you're going to take some twine or ribbon, whatever you want to use. Mine's about 13 inches long. You can make it any length you like. And so what I'm going to do is put a little blob of glue there and hold the two ends in place. Push it down. And then I'm going to put a little bit more glue on top. Now take your corners and you're going to bring them down to the edge here in the middle, and then take the other one and fold it over. Now I'm going to overlap mine, and I'm going to use my hot glue gun to hold the edges together. If you don't want to use the hot glue gun, you can do a little whip stitch with needle and thread. And just put a little bead along there and press to hold it together. This is what it looks like when it's done. Now you can leave it just like this, or if you want, you can add something up here at the top, like a bow. I'm going to be adding these little bells that I purchased from Dollar Tree. Now Walmart had some like this too, except they were about half this size. So what you would do is you'd put a glob of glue up here, set this down, press it down, and then under each bell, put a little dot of glue and press it down. And this is what it looks like when it's done. Isn't this pretty? Now let's get started on the second ornament. Take some paper that's about 5.5 inches wide this way and maybe 6 inches this way, and fold it in half, and then draw a shape of a leaf, any leaf you want. So I just did a gentle curve like this, and then go ahead and cut the leaf out. This is what my leaf looks like. Now I'm going to draw the shape of the leaf on the back side of the fabric. Place it on the back side of your fabric and then draw around it. I'm using that same fusible interfacing that I used in the first ornament. This is the glue side, so you want to put it down against your table and then take your fabric with the pretty side facing down. And then just go ahead and stitch right on top of your drawn lines. Then go ahead and cut it out, leaving slightly less than 1/4 of an inch all the way around. Make sure that at your 2 points you don't have too much fabric sticking out. You want to again trim those points down to about 1/8 of an inch wide. Here's the interfacing, so again you want to trim a large slit in there and then turn it front side out. Now make sure you poke your corners out. Now be careful not to tear that fusible interfacing. And then again, take this to your ironing board and press this and fuse it on. You want to make 3 of these leaves and arrange them like this. Now at first I just stitched it across here, stitching all 3 together because I thought it would hold it, but you still need to do a little bit of hot gluing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put just a little dot, little small dot of glue underneath each leaf on this side. So lift it up. All you need is just a small little dot. Push it down. Do the same thing here. Then on the front side, you want to do the same thing. Take your twine or ribbon, whatever you want to use, and put glue all over the back to hold it in place. Now you can leave your ornament just like we made it with just the 3 leaves and the twine, or you can add other embellishments to it. Now, I had a hard time when I went into the stores. I couldn't really find anything that I liked. So I went through my personal home decorations and I found this, and this is probably 15, 20 years old. And I've been clipping things off of it that I can use on my ornaments. So I clipped one of the poinsettia leaves off, and I pretty much took the whole flower apart. And so this is what it looks like. Here's got a little hole in the middle. Then I had to cut this down, the shank on the back, I had to cut it way down. So if you've got wire cutters, that really helps. So what I'm going to do is glue this up at the top of the leaves where the twine is, and then glue this gold piece right on top. And this is what it looks like when it's all done. For this last ornament, you'll need a piece of fabric that is 12 inches long this way and 4.5 inches wide this way. At these two ends right here, you want to fold the ends over an inch and then stitch it down right along here. On this project, you don't need to worry about any raw edges because this is not going to go in the washing machine. Now fold it in half, and here's the front side of the fabric. You want this facing up, so bring the two ends together. And then on each side here, you're going to stitch the edges closed using a 1/4 inch seam. So you're going to start here, right here where you stitched across here. You're going to start right there at that point and stitch all the way down to the bottom. Then go over to this side and do the same thing. Take the end of your twine. If you're going to use ribbon to use as the drawstring, make sure you put a safety pin on one end and then feed it through. So you start over here and bring it out through this edge. Now flip it over and then insert it through this edge, and then pull it out on this side over here. Now bring the ends of your ribbon or twine together and then tie it in a knot. Now take your other piece of twine, and here is where this loops around. So right there is where you're going to start. So you're going to insert this in this side and bring it out over here. So I just pulled it out through here. Now I'm going to take the end and feed it through to the other side. Then you'll bring the ends together and then tie a knot. And this is what it looks like when it's done. And if you pull on them, it actually gathers the bag up. Now reach inside the bag and begin pushing, the front side of the fabric out. Make sure you poke your corners out at the bottom. So this is what it looks like when you're all done with it. Now I'm going to put an applique design of a Christmas tree on the front. You don't have to do that, so let me show you how to do it if you choose to. This is fusible web. This is made by Pellon, and you can purchase it at Joann's or on Amazon.com. There's 2 layers of paper. One has grid lines on it. That's the side you draw on. In between the 2 pieces of paper is a thin layer of glue. So go ahead and trace whatever design you want. It could be a tree, a bell, a candy cane, Santa Claus, whatever you want to do. And then you're going to go ahead and just cut about 1/4 inch out on outside of the drawn lines. Then place it on the back side of your fabric and then finger press it down. And then cut with scissors right on your drawn lines. Now remove the paper off, and it should be sticky on the fabric. Then take it, place it on your fabric, center it as best you can, finger press it down. Then go to your ironing board, put a damp cloth over it, and then hold your iron down for 10 to 15 seconds, and then it's fused on. Now open the bag up And then on the back edge here, here's the front, on the inside of the back edge, put your twine or ribbon, put some hot glue to hold it in place. So I clipped off some more items from that little foliage bunch that I had, cut off the pieces I was interested in, inserted it into the bag, and pulled this back a little bit and put little dabs of glue in there to hold it in place. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that you learned something new. Remember, go through your scrap pile first, go through those old Christmas decorations and see what you can use, because you're going to save a lot of money. Now, scroll down below your YouTube screen to the description section. Click on Show More or down arrow, and you will see all kinds of links for other Christmas projects. Now, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing.
If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl. This is Manny. See you next time.